If you bought a home here in Vancouver about 5 years ago, I want you to picture something with me for a second, because for a lot of people watching this, it is not a hypothetical anymore. It is happening right now. You're standing in your kitchen with your mortgage renewal letter in one hand and your phone calculator in the other, and you already know before you even punch the numbers in that this is not going to feel good because you locked into under 2% rate back in 2020 or 2021, some people as low as 1.89, and now you are renewing into something that starts with a 4. So the payment is going up, and that part you saw coming. The part that is harder to swallow is that the two escape hatches everybody assumes they have, just sell it or just rent it out, or both quietly closing at the exact same time, and most people do not realize that until they actually go to pull one of these levers. And here's the part that actually really messes with people, because you are now paying more every single month for a home that on paper is worth less than it was a few years ago, and that is the moment a house stops feeling like the smart decision you made and starts feeling like something that is sitting on your chest. My name is Kyle Mark. Thanks for checking out this video. If you enjoy it, make sure that you give it a like and subscribe. If you'd like to talk directly to me, make sure you book into my calendar. It's the first link in the description. Now, before you spiral on me, I want to be very clear about something, because this is not hopeless, even if it feels that way standing in that kitchen. But pretending it is 2019 again and just hoping the market comes back to bail you out, that is the one thing that will absolutely make this worse. This market needs a different playbook than the one that worked 5 years ago, and that is exactly what I want to give you today. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through the 3 pressures squeezing Vancouver homeowners right now: the can't sell problem, the can't rent problem, and the can't keep it problem. And then just as importantly, I'm going to give you the actual play for each one, because I never want to leave you sitting with that fear. And make sure you stick around to the end, because there is one move that, if you are anywhere near a renewal, matters more than everything else combined, and the people who make it early are the ones who come out of this completely fine. So let me start with the can't sell problem, because this is the one most people bump into first. Number 1, you are not in the market you bought into. We are firmly in a buyer's market across most of the region, and buyers know it, which means they are slower, they are pickier, and they are walking away over things they would have completely ignored 4 or 5 years ago. According to the Edge report, home sales across Metro Vancouver are sitting near multi-decade lows. The overall price index is down about 6% from a year ago, and the condo segment is leading that decline at nearly 8%. And there's a number in there that should really get your attention, because the ratio of sales to new listings is stuck in the mid-30s, which is a level that historically has always come before further price declines, not after them. So if you are selling, you are not just competing with the neighbor down the street, you are competing with price drops, with incentives and relisted homes, and with sellers who get a little more motivated every single week. Number 2 is the backup plan that almost everybody talks themselves into, which is fine. I will just rent it out. That used to be the easy answer in this city, and honestly, it is just not anymore, and the data is why it is pretty stark. Rents have softened, vacancy has climbed, and here's the part that very few people are connecting, because according to that same Edge report, CMHC insured more than 26,000 brand new rental units across the country in a single quarter, and that happened in a quarter where Canada's population actually shrank by over 100,000 people. So you have a wave of new rental supply landing at the exact moment when the pool of renters is getting smaller, and the people who write that report came right out and said the operating environment for landlords is going to stay challenging for the next couple of years. This is where the accidental landlord gets created. Let me put this into perspective here. Say your new payment after renewal is $5,000 a month, and the absolute most you can rent the place for is $4,000. That is not passive income. That is you writing a $1,000 check every single month for the privilege of holding an asset that is not going up right now. And a lot of people are genuinely shocked when they run that math for the first time. I have experienced it myself. I have a rental in a great spot in Mount Pleasant. I was getting $3,000 a month for that property. My tenant moved out earlier because of a job loss, and I was begging a tenant to take it for $2,400 a month. That's a $600 a month drop just on a condo, which is quite devastating. And this is the theme that we're seeing: more vacancies, time on market without a tenant, and if you're already struggling with finances, this is something you want to avoid at all costs. Number 3 is the part that ties the knot, the can't keep it moment, and this is the renewal cliff itself. A huge number of homeowners in this city locked into those ultra low rates in 2020 and 2021, and those terms are coming due right now. With the market data out there, the best deep discount variable is sitting around 3.5%, fixed rates around 4.1, and the average 5-year fix at the big banks closer to 4.6. So if you do the math on a mortgage that was written under 2%, resetting to those numbers, and the jump is not small, it is hundreds and sometimes well over $1,000 a month depending on your balance. And the reason this matters beyond your own kitchen table is that the Edge report is also showing power of sale and foreclosure activity climbing, with some homes selling under court order for close to half of what they sold for at the 2022 peak. And they are explicitly calling for that to keep rising right through the rest of the year. So when you stack a higher payment on top of a home that is worth less, with selling slow and renting underwater, you can see how an owner gets frozen. And I want to sit on that word frozen for a second, because this is the part that is actually the hardest, and it has nothing to do with the spreadsheet. I've watched people in exactly this spot who want to move but can't, who want to refinance but the bank tightens up the moment they ask, who want to just wait it out but the monthly reality keeps showing up in their account whether they are ready for it or not. The home that was supposed to give them options ends up feeling like it quietly took those options away. And honestly, the people I have seen get hurt the worst are not the ones who had a problem. They're the ones who saw the renewal coming 6 months out and chose to look from it. Because the problem does not get smaller while you ignore it. It just shows up later with less room to move. So let me give you the actual playbook, because this is the whole reason I made this video. And there are 3 moves and they matter in this order. The first move is on price, and it is for the seller. Pricing your home in this market has to be real, not hopeful. Not just let's throw a number out there and see what happens. The homes that are actually selling right now are the ones priced to create action, and I know that feels like weakness, but it is the opposite. If a buyer sees value, it will purchase and it will transact quickly. You are choosing the outcome instead of letting 90 days on the market choose it for you, because a stale listing with 2 price drops on it tells every buyer in the city that you are the motivated one. I sold a property in the Vancouver house that was on and off the market for 5 years. We were able to move it in just 37 hours because the price was proper and it was full ask. The second move is on renting, and it is to run the numbers honestly before you assume it is your safety net. Renting is not the automatic fallback everyone treats it as anymore. You have to sit down and actually run it. The realistic rent, not the 2021 rent, plus vacancy, plus repairs, plus the boring stuff people skip against your new payment. If it genuinely works, fantastic. That is a real option and you should take it. But if it does not work and you do it anyway just to avoid selling, all you are doing is kicking a more expensive version of the exact problem 12 months down the road, and your property values are going to tank. And the third move is the one I told you to stick around for, and it is the most important by a mile if you're anywhere near a renewal. Do not wait for the bank to force the conversation. If you know you are 6 or 8 months out from renewing and you have a feeling it's going to be tight, call your lender now while you still have leverage and options. Not the week the term expires when you have neither. The time to build a plan is before the pressure is on top of you, because every option you have gets better the earlier you move. And here's the part most people in the city are not seeing clearly yet, because it is not all defense. There are genuine opportunities in a market like this one. Buyers finally have real leverage, less pressure, and more choice than they have had in years. And investors with actual cash and actual cash flow are quietly paying attention again. And if you are a downsizer, you especially need to zoom out, because if prices are soft right across the board, you might lose a little on that sale and save a whole lot more on the purchase. And taking a small hit on one side does not mean you are losing on the whole move. The people who win in this market are the ones who freeze, and they are not the ones who panic. They are the small group who see clearly what is actually happening and move early and move smart. So that is the real Vancouver situation right now. 3 pressures pushing at the same time, but every single one of them has a move attached to it. If you're selling, price for the market that exists, not the one you bought in. If you're thinking about renting, run the true numbers, include your property taxes, your strata fees, anything else before you lean on it. And if you're anywhere near renewal, you make the call to your lender today, not the day the letter forces you to. This market does not reward hoping, and it does not reward denial. It rewards the people who look at it clearly and act before they are made to.